Hi, my name is Matt and welcome to the INNOVA Quilting Systems. Today we're going to show you how to thread your INNOVA quilting machine. We're going to start out by using the thread stand here in the back. You notice that it has a plate on the bottom here. This plate is to hold the thread. These little, what I call propellers sitting on here, are to keep the thread cone stable. So you're going to take your spool of thread. I suggest INNOVAtech. Place that over top of the little propellers. Seat it firmly on the plate on the bottom to make sure that the thread can't get underneath of it. Take the end of the thread. We're going to go through the first thread guide. Now this thread guide should be directly centered above the center of the cone of thread. This helps get the thread off of the cone smoothly and evenly. Then we're going to pass the thread up to the thread guide pin, which is right here, this piece right here. And what this thread guide pin does is it helps smooth out the thread, keeps any tangles, helps keep the thread going straight up to the tension assembly. So what you're going to do is you're going to go through the hole here in the front, you're going to pass it over the top and back into the same side hole at the bottom. So you kind of halfway wrap around the post. You want to make sure when you're doing this that you do not accidentally get the thread wrapped around the post or on top of itself so it doesn't tie to the post. Now I'm going to move around to the front of the machine and we'll continue. After you thread through the back of the thread guide to the front, you're going to pass the thread between the two discs. Do not wrap around that post, just between the two discs. And then in the front of this thread guide and out the back, now your pre-tension is threaded. And what this pre-tension does, it adds a little bit of tension to the thread to make the main tension work properly. Once you've gone through the pre-tension, we're going to come down and we're going to snap into this thread guide. Now we're at the main tension. Okay, so to make threading a little bit easier, I'm going to go ahead and rotate this handlebar up out of my way. You notice that my machine is off so I don't accidentally hit any buttons and get the machine sewing. So what we're going to do is we're going to wrap around the rotary tension, which is this disc right here, what we call 2.5 times. So I'm going to take the thread in my fingers, I'm going to come right in the center of that disc, go around once, go around twice, then I'm going to start a third time, and I'm going to bring it up and hook it into the check spring. The check spring being this little spring right here, you can see bounce up and down. After the check spring, you come down underneath the hook. That's what makes the check spring operate properly. And then we're going to take and thread our take-up. It is important that you thread the take-up because it actually pulls up all the extra thread in the sewing cycle. I'm going to do it this way. So now that we have the take-up threaded, we're going to go to the thread guide here, snap it in, and we're going to go into the curlicue thread guide, which is on this machine. That's part of the M28 series. We're going to bring it down, snap into the thread guide on the needle bar frame. Now another one that a lot of people miss, but it is important, is a thread guide located at the top of the needle bar, or the needle or needle bar. I'm going to go through that eyelet right there. Just push the thread through. Now, before I try to thread the needle, I like to trim the end of my thread with a pair of scissors so I get a nice clean end. Okay, so I'm going to trim the thread so you have a nice clean end. If you break it, you don't have a clean end and it's harder to get through the needle. Then you're going to thread the needle from front to back. So from you to the back of the machine. Line up the eyelet, push it through. One of the things you want to be careful of when you are threading the needle is that you do not let the thread wrap around the needle as you put it through. Otherwise, you end up tying your thread onto your needle. And that's how easy it is to thread in an INNOVA quilting machine. Just remember, we're here, always here for you, and INNOVA is built to quilt. So this is a squeeze tension, so you see how the two plates separate? So you just want the thread to go between the two plates. You do not wrap around the post. The main tension is a rotary tension. The thread has to wrap around it 2.5 times. So you'll see as I wrap, you'll see that the disc is spinning with the thread, and that's what you want. If the disc isn't spinning, you have no tension control.